welcome back into the channel. In today's video, we are going to be revisiting what the most important ratings are at each position in Madden 24. This is a series that we did a long time ago within Madden, and it's definitely deserving of a refresher, especially with some of the new ratings, such as change of direction and the way things have changed in Madden in recent years. So we're going to go over what is the most important for the quarterback position in today's video. Keep in mind that a lot of this is going to depend on which archetype quarterback you're going to desire in Madden 24 and how you're going to utilize your quarterback. A lot of people are going to lean towards either a strong arm or a scrambler style of quarterback in user play, simply because they want the strong arm to fit the ball into those tight spaces quicker, or they want the player that is going to be able to get the running threat on the ground in addition to the passing threat that you don't normally have with a standard quarterback. So that's what a lot of people are going to be targeting, and that's kind of the way we are going to shape our ratings discussion. Not that an improviser or a field general quarterback isn't going to be useful to you, because they certainly are. It's just going to be more dependent on their accuracies and certain types of different ratings that aren't necessarily as important if you just want a really solid quarterback. This is also going to depend on whether you're playing the games or simulating the games. These things are going to change depending on how you're actually playing Madden and if you're playing franchise mode or other game modes. If you are simulating gameplay, there are a couple of traits and ratings that are going to be the most important for you, and I'll get those out of the way first. And this is something that I picked up from Tips for Gamers. I don't know if you guys have subscribed to his channel, but you guys should, because he provides a lot of very in-depth content, very similar to some of the things that I do here on the channel, and very quality content as well. So you're going to want to make sure that you check that stuff out. But I wanted to give credit where credit is due, where this is actually coming from. You're going to want specific traits on a simulation quarterback. Those traits being, you do not want the throw ball away trait. You don't really care about ideal sense of pressure. Average or ideal is what you're going to want. You do not want ideal decision maker. You want aggressive decision maker. You want a quarterback that is going to release the ball, that is going to try to force passes downfield. Otherwise, you're never going to get that quarterback that is actually completing the number of passes that you need them to. They're going to hang on to the ball too long. They're going to take sacks, or they might be throwing the ball away whenever you don't want them to. So the tight spiral thing is not something you care about, but you want aggressive decision maker, ideal or average sense of pressure, preferably ideal, and you don't want throw ball away. The penalty tendency, those types of things, none of that else matters. But if you have the aggressive decision maker, if you have a guy that has a strong arm with good throw power and that type of thing, you're going to have success. In simulation, a lot of the quarterbacks that are a strong arm archetype are going to do really well when they have that aggressive decision maker, and that's going to help push the ball downfield. So there's some combinations there that are going to work out really well for sim quarterbacks, but for user quarterbacks, it's a completely different idea. For user quarterbacks, you're going to want the tangible physical traits to be the best. You want the best throw power and the best athleticism that a quarterback can give you, depending on what you're trying to do with that guy. Throw power is going to be the most important rating for a quarterback that you're actually physically using. It's actually the opposite for simulation. If you are slow simming and you're watching the gameplay, quarterbacks with a stronger arm aren't necessarily always going to perform as well with a weaker arm, because it changes who they're targeting, where they're throwing the ball, and how they make decisions. As a user, you want a quarterback that can fit the ball in as quickly as possible, as powerful as possible, and so throw power is king. Throw power is number one. Number two is going to be speed. And now you can completely just ignore this if you're not going for a scrambler or improviser type of a quarterback, somebody that's mobile. If you don't care about that, if you want a pocket passer, your mobility is not going to matter at all. If you do want somebody with mobility, though, you're going to have to focus on speed and acceleration second after throw power. These are incredibly important. You're going to want to have a quarterback, and now in Madden 24, 83 speed for Kenny Pickett is actually pretty solid. He feels fairly mobile, but you're going to want 85 and above. Anything, the closer you can get to 90, the better, and that is going to be very rare within Madden, especially in randomized draft classes. Acceleration, you're going to want high 80s into the 90s, because this is how quickly they can adjust and get to their top speed. And something that a lot of people are going to overlook is a quarterback's agility and change of direction, which is going to be really important if you want a quarterback to be able to be mobile and be escapable. You need to be able to shift your direction. You need to be able to get upfield, left, right. You need to be able to do everything that a a Lamar Jackson or one of those other types of quarterbacks that Justin Fields could possibly do, and you have to be able to move around quickly and make those change of direction adjustments quickly. Those ratings are incredibly important if you want a successful mobile quarterback. There are actually a handful of mobile quarterbacks that do not have good agility or change of direction. They just have straight line speed, and they don't operate well as scrambling quarterbacks, so that's not something you're going to want. Now, as far as everything else on this secondary page here, a quarterback's carrying, strength, trucking, stiff arm, juke move, smooth, spin move, not necessarily going to be important at all. You're certainly going to want to maybe have a little bit of a juke move or a spin move, or you're going to want to have a little bit better carrying or something on a quarterback that is highly mobile. But ultimately, the way the game has coded now, it's changed year to year. Sometimes they code it so quarterbacks fumble no matter what, no matter whether they had 99 carrying or not. So to be honest with you, I'm not going to pay a whole lot of attention to those ratings unless I have a highly mobile quarterback that I'm really trying to get on the ground a ton. Your injury, your stamina, your toughness, not really going to be super important. Your stamina more than anything else, especially if you have a mobile quarterback. But even if you don't have a mobile quarterback, their stamina in recent years is going to be affected by how often they're getting hit, they're getting sacked, they're getting pressured, and those types of things. And their accuracies will go down if their stamina is not very good. So you should consider a quarterback's stamina. You're going to want something in the high 80s into the 90s as kind of like a baseline. If it's below that, you're going to be struggling to be consistently accurate as a quarterback. But then we get on to what is important from there. And everything on this first page is going to be important in some way. Break sack is going to be the least important on this page, depending on what you're doing with your quarterback. But beyond that, the next most important rating is their throw under pressure rating. There are so many players that have abilities that cause pressure from different areas on the defensive line. There are so many different ways that your quarterback can be pressured, and it's going to affect their accuracy. If you don't have a good throw under pressure rating, but you have 99 accuracy in every category, it's not going to matter, because if you're under pressure, those accuracies are going to be impacted. You're going to be throwing more inaccurate passes, so throw under pressure is your priority. Beyond that, play action within Madden is very effective. Having a decent play action rating is going to be useful if you want to have success on those play action plays. I haven't seen a major difference between somebody with low play action and high play action, but I have seen a little bit of a difference, so consider play action a little bit. And then beyond that, it's going to matter what you're doing with your quarterback as far as which accuracies are going to be the most important for you. Are you throwing while you're mobile a lot? And then prioritize throw on a run, because that's going to override those other accuracies whenever you're actually throwing and moving outside of the pocket and those types of things. Outside of that, though, then you're going to want to worry about, are you throwing a lot of deep balls? Are you throwing a lot of medium balls or a lot of short balls? And depending on what your offense is, that's where you want to focus your accuracies. If you're trying to pass deep a lot, focus on deep and medium accuracies. If you're trying to target the middle of the field, then just focus on medium. If you're trying to target short, if you're a dink and dunk offense, a Tom Brady type of a player, then target short accuracies. I forgot to mention that as well on this page for user gameplay, awareness, not really going to be important. For user-controlled players, awareness is almost never going to be that important. It almost hyperinflates a player's rating. It's almost a false rating, if you want to say that. It's going to influence the algorithms and everything that's going on behind the scenes as far as whether this quarterback's going to play well or not, but awareness is going to apply far more to simulation, especially slow simulation gameplay, as to whether a quarterback is going to find their targets, if they're going to be aware of what's going on around them and whether they can actually process it and make plays. So not necessarily something you want to worry about with a user quarterback, but to summarize, what is the most important for your quarterbacks, especially user quarterbacks, is going to be your throw power, your athleticism, which includes your speed, acceleration, agility, and change of direction, your quarterback stamina, and then your throw under pressure, and then everything else is secondary to that. Those are by far the most important ratings and the most important things to consider with a user quarterback. And to also summarize, with a CPU quarterback in sim gameplay, you're going to want the ideal sense of pressure and aggressive decision maker traits. Those are going to help push the ball downfield. These things don't matter quite as much for a user player. As for a user player, tight spiral could potentially help. I mean, it's great to have. It's a little, like cherry on top, but not necessarily something that's going to be that important. None of that other stuff is going to be all that important for a user controlled quarterback. So that has been the most important ratings and traits for your quarterbacks within Madden 24. I hope that you guys enjoyed the revisit to this topic. I'm going to continue to go through other positions, and make sure you guys stay tuned for those videos. If you guys did find this useful in some way, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. As always, I'll see you guys in the next video, and I hope you have a good one.